pull on that jersey, you represent yourself and your teammates. And a name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. Get that through your head.
And here we go.
And it is no good. He missed it. Are you kidding me? The season can't end like that.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms. Bare-chested. Somebody stop that man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyler Falk. I'm the host of the program, otherwise known as NETMA. Glad you could join us either tonight live or whenever you might be listening to or watching us from, and wherever you might be in this vast world that we call ourselves home. Some big news coming out of the SFL late last night. Brand new TV sponsor. Very excited to say that the Commissioner Cameron Irvine has penned a deal with ESTV, otherwise known as Esports Television. That's a huge deal for the league as they look to grow the game on a much wider scale, worldwide. Again, continuing to push the envelope, this time through a DirecTV outlet in ESTV. First of all, welcome to the SFL family, ESTV. We are glad we have your backing, and we're hoping we can provide you an excellent product, as I know that we do have. So what a great deal for the league, and can't wait to provide some entertainment on ESTV in the near future. More details to come, of course, from the Commissioner Cameron Irvine. But new TV deal, that can only mean good things for the league. All right, let's get into Now You Know, as we know, every Friday or every last day before the next slate of games comes up. So usually Fridays. In a couple of weeks it'll be on a Thursday. But we've got a couple of games going on, of course, this past weekend. Last time we will see only 8 games for the rest of the season, well into the playoffs. But in the regular season, week 13 and week 14, of course, all 24 teams will be in action for the last time. It'll be the lowest number of teams in upcoming seasons, because of course we move to 28 teams next season. So let's go ahead and jump into the first of 8 games. Before that, here is where everything stands. All spreads are provided by the great people over at Jack's Data. The SFL community on Who You Got is 62-52, and they find myself on Now You Know It back at 62-52. So we're all tied up once again heading into the final 3 weeks, and I'm on a little bit of a slump in best bets. I've dropped 2 weeks straight. 7-4 is my current best bet record. All right, let's go on to game number 1. Houston at Mexico City. Mexico City is the favorite by 3.5. And the Hyenas, I think, are a pretty strong team coming in. 4 straight wins. They've obviously figured out something that works. A couple of teams have been caught off guard by some players that we know can play really rather well. Mainly DR Sim. If you press him, he's going to get behind you. I know Ramos has had time to prepare for Houston. However, I think Houston might just throw Mexico City for a loop. I think Houston's stability these last couple of weeks will prove the fatal flaw for the Aztecs. Expect a close game, however, but I think the Aztecs might just fall here in this football game. All right, on to game number 2, Queen City in Denver. Denver has never lost to Queen City, and they clearly have the better offense on paper. When you take a look at what the Nightwings have been able to do the last couple of weeks, they are currently 3rd in points per game, 3rd in third down percentage on offense. They clearly are involved in the passing game, ranked 10th best in terms of passing yards and passing touchdowns, at 4th with 23 passing touchdowns. The one thing that might prove a fatal flaw for the Nightwings is their defense. They're toward the back in a lot of categories, while Queen City's defense doesn't allow a whole lot of first downs or even third downs for that matter, and they have done really well on offense of not turning over the football, second best in terms of least turnovers. So expect this one to be a fun game. However, I think Denver keeps that streak alive. This will only be the third meeting between the two clubs, but I think Denver comes away with the victory. They are 2.5-point favorites in Queen City. On to game number 3, Atlanta and Florida. This is my best bet of the week, and hopefully I can turn around a little slump I'm having with back-to-back weeks going not my way. But Atlanta's offense, with an asterisk, we'll come back to that asterisk in a little bit. Atlanta's offense has struggled to put up points. They have been really inconsistent this past week. Of course, they had a whole bunch of points, 37 points in the first half, but 0 in the second. That goes to show me that, yes, they can score points. That offense has known to score points. They've changed things up, and it worked, but it only worked for 22 out of the 44 minutes. So I think the inconsistency is something that Florida will take advantage of. Florida, if they're not going up against good defenses, they're running up the score. And that's exactly what they did against Tulsa. Tulsa was just underprepared for Florida, and Florida took advantage. Charlie Boletsky had a day. Ron Cochran had himself a day, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. 7.5 points feels about right for Florida. Atlanta has got themselves into trouble, and I think the best they can do at this point is maybe a 500 season. Maybe 6-6. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta come away with the victory here, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take them to remain consistent through all 4 quarters of the game, possibly overtime if it ends up going that way. But I think Florida just have a better game plan altogether. Maybe something that Florida or Atlanta haven't been able to change too much. We'll see this weekend. All right, coming up, game number 4, Arizona at Las Vegas. This is a must-watch game. Both teams coming into week 8. We're at 3-3, both sitting at 500. Since week 8, both teams have dropped 3 straight. They are both at 3-6. Both teams are in that West Division. A loss more than likely means they're out of the playoff hunt, or depending on how many teams end up at 5-7, maybe just barely looking at a playoff spot. However, Arizona and Las Vegas have some incredible history, right? Las Vegas has won 5 out of the past 6 contests. That's the only time they've played. Last time they played Las Vegas, the last 3 games, Las Vegas has won. All by single digits. By single digits, I mean 1 point or 2 points if you go back to season 16. That's the last 3 games. Arizona cannot afford another close loss. It would be absolutely crushing for Eddie Gage and company. And some more clarification coming out of Arizona's house is Ashley Jackson maybe not be retiring. There were some rumors that she was retiring, but from what we were reading this past week on Swamp Talk, she's kind of quashed those rumors a little bit, saying that, I don't know what the future holds. I think I'm staying. So Ashley Jackson probably sticking around at a quarterback spot for a couple more seasons, maybe. Regardless, Las Vegas and Arizona it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for both clubs. Both clubs have had their struggles, widely known. Las Vegas has been unable to stop the passing attack in the past couple of games. They need something in a hurry. Arizona, the less said about how close their losses have been, the better. Weren't able to do anything on offense versus London. Both teams need to figure out their woes, and it's a perfect time to do so with 3 games remaining on the schedule. So I'm picking Arizona in this one because I think Eddie Gage will have the better of his opposite number over in Las Vegas. I think with a nice big old third down percentage that they're converting, third best in the league at 61%. That defense is pretty good. First in passing yards allowed, first in passing touchdowns allowed, second in overall yards allowed on defense. Las Vegas Fury defense, not a whole slouch either. They're third best in allowing passing touchdowns as well. However, I think the game plan goes to Arizona. I think Las Vegas has lost their spunky luster they had a season ago. I think Arizona comes out with the victory. Okay, on to Sunday's games. 4 games on Sunday. Baltimore and DC. This is for the North Division. It's possibly the final big hurdle for Baltimore to overcome as they go into the playoffs and for their perfect regular season. Of course, denied at the buzzer in season 12 or last season in week 12 versus London. Baltimore probably not looking to do the similar thing. If DC can be consistent, if DC's no nonsense game plan it comes to fruition, and they're able to slow Baltimore and maybe learn from Las Vegas and Sioux Falls' games against Baltimore, we might see a close game. However, I'm going Baltimore because Baltimore have won an absurd margin. They have not been in a tight ball game since week 6 when it was a 6-point margin between Queen City. I think Baltimore will have the better of DC in this one. I think they have just enough to get them over that 6.5-point spread. On to game number 6, Louisiana in Jacksonville. Expect another pick party. Jacksonville are underdogs by 7.5. However, we know Louisiana likes to keep it close. I think because both teams love to turn over the football. Both teams are tied at second in the league in terms of most turnovers. Both teams have 31 takeaways on defense. And if we know anything about these two clubs, expect both Dunhill and Utah to throw a bunch of picks. We're probably over-under on picks, in my opinion. I think we're getting close to 10, maybe 12 picks in the ball game. However, I think the defense will keep everything close. The main difference between Louisiana, I think, and a bunch of teams is they know how to march down the field and kick field goals. We know that Jess Boudreau is right now nearly 10 field goals or more than the next closest kicker in terms of total field goals made. So I think Louisiana will keep it close. Jacksonville will cover the spread, but I think Louisiana come out with the victory in another tight-knit affair. Final 2 games on the docket. First one is Charleston at St. Louis. St. Louis are 7.5-point dogs at home. And I think it's another nightmare for Christian Brown and company as that Charleston defense has scared a couple of teams in the past. They're 5-4, and they've kept things tight when they haven't been on point, when their offense hasn't been on point. It's taken a few weeks for Kentez to get acclimated to the system, of course, coming in for the first time, I believe, in Florida, where they came away with a very nice win. Dropped 2 and then came back against Carolina and took control of that football game. I think Charleston now have the game plan for Kentez, and with an extra week, I think Kentez, Johnson, and company will take control of this football game and come away with a victory in St. Louis. Final game on the docket, San Diego, Portland, another Boats versus Plains battle. Look for a repeat performance in week 5. San Diego's offense is pretty good. It's pretty good. They haven't been on point last few weeks, of course, dropping 5 straight. But we know the offense can score. Now, people will say, yes, last couple of weeks they've scored a bunch of points in #garbage time. San Diego need to turn those garbage time points into first half, early second half points. And I think they can do that against Portland. Portland, just they've been the unlucky redheaded stepchild in a way. I think Portland will keep it more of a ball game. I think they will come back toward the end of that football game, but I think San Diego just does enough to get more than a touchdown advantage over Portland. So that's going to do it for this week's edition of NETMA. We'll be right back here Monday evening to recap everything that happened in week 12 and start to preview what happened or what's going to happen in week 13. So until then, everybody, we'll see you next week, and we'll have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy the games on Saturday, Sunday. Till then, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.